Monster. I'm Michael Getz, owner and CEO of The Force of Focus, also a tattoo artist for a really fucking long time. This is a good friend of mine, Rah, from Down Under. Rah, fucking introduce yourself, sir.
Oh, fuck, I don't know what to say, man.
That's fun, right? You get put on the spot right away?
Yeah, it's a bit daunting, you know. Fuck, I don't know. G'day, I'm Rah. I'm from Australia. I work on the Gold Coast. Been tattooing almost in a couple of months. It'll be 17 years. It's cool to be here. Thanks, man.
Is it weird to say you've been tattooing for that fucking long? Does it blow your mind as much as it does mine?
Man, it's fucking terrifying. It's every time someone asks me, "Oh, how long you been doing this for?" It's like, oh, you got to add it up in your head, and you're like, "Fuck, I'm old, man."
Like, so when you were younger, did you feel weird about saying a short period of time, but now as you get older, you're like, I don't want to say it out loud now?
Yeah, like you're always a bit nervous to talk to the clients, like, "Oh, how long you been tattooing?" And it's like, "Oh, 2 years," because they might not think you're good enough, you know. And then when you say 17, they just, oh wow, fuck, that's a long time. Like, yeah, thanks, bitch. Like, make me feel even older than I am.
I had a girl come into the studio the other day, and she asked me the same question. Well, how long you been tattooing? I said, well, fucking how old are you? She's 18. I was like, about there. Right about there. That's about how long I've been doing this. All right, man. So from what you and I know about each other, you've done a lot of traveling. You and I met through a mutual friend who went and tattooed with you in Australia. You came over here and visited, fucking hung out, did some partying, did some sightseeing, we'll call it. Where all have you traveled and tattooed lately, man? I know you've been a lot of fucking places.
Recently, I haven't really traveled with tattooing. I've just been tattooing at home. I've sort of taken a bit of a step back from conventions and stuff as well. Although this year I'm doing some more. I'm doing one in Melbourne in a couple of weeks. But the last few years, man, I've only been traveling just for pleasure, just partying and going around the world and seeing shit. So I haven't been really doing any guest spots or sort of getting around like I used to. But the plan is to change this year. I'd like to get back over and tattoo around England again, probably go back to Germany, which I've been there. Got to tattoo with Randy Engelhardt out there, and in a couple of smaller studios in like some small towns that probably no one's ever heard of. But shit, where I've been, I couldn't even make a list. Like, I'm not like, you know, right out there on a lot of people's radar, but my God, I've tattooed in some fucking countries and I've visited a lot of places. Been through almost every European country, except some shady ones that you probably wouldn't want to tattoo in anyway.
Those are the ones you go to party in. Those are the dark, seedy places you don't talk about when you leave.
Man, I wouldn't even want to party in some of them places. they're the ones you end up in, like Hostel movie type of shit.
Yeah, well, you know, YOLO or whatever. I remember when you came and visited us, we still wound up in some fucking places that I thought might turn into some hostile situations.
That's Des Moines, Iowa, bro.
The one place you never hear of until you're there and you never want to remember or forget.
Oh, man. Like, to be honest, I had a fucking great time there. And every time I talk about going to the States, they're like, oh, you know, where's fun to hang out? And it's like, fucking go to Iowa, bro. Like, I had so much fun there. It just messy nights, good people. There was a couple of times where drama sort of followed us, but it didn't last long. And it's like, I remember being in a bar, I can't even remember which one. And I was standing at the bar and I met this chick. And she's like, oh my God, you're Australian. I've never met an Australian before. And I was just thinking to myself, like, fuck, we're not Bigfoot. We're just people with a different accent. Like, you know, she was acting like I was from fucking Mars. And I was just like, oh, because, you know, obviously it's not particularly a tourist town, but it was for me.
I mean, but let's be honest. You still leaned into it a little bit, though, like you're goddamn right I am.
Well, I always found in America, the longer I spend in the States, the more Australian I get.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is, whether it's a difference in the accent or people just like it when you really laid on thick. But,
Yeah.
you know, you walk in, and as far as I'm concerned, you know, you fly in LAX and you talk fairly normal. Within a month, I am fucking Steve Irwin, man. I am crikey. I'm holy shit. Like, people love it.
I remember there was one night, you, me, and our mutual friend were out hitting the town, and I just couldn't believe how frequently you could get away with saying the word cunt in public and nobody got mad. So then I started trying it, and I got fucking accosted verbally on multiple occasions. Like, I just don't get it. I don't understand the difference, and I don't know, man. I would say you have a way with words, but I mean, I think that goes without being said.
Generally, I'd get away with it. I mean, I got away with it in probably 95% of places. There was a few states. Louisiana was a big one. I remember getting pulled up real hard for dropping the cunt. A couple of old guys sitting at a pokey just turned around real serious, like, you don't fucking say that around here, mate. But otherwise, yeah, people kind of just laughed it off. They're just, we don't say that, but, you know, they thought it was kind of funny when I did. So, you know, fuck them cunts.
Yeah, you know what? I couldn't agree more. All right, so I mean, man, I've always been like in awe of your story, just because you and I followed a lot of the same paths when it came to music, living life kind of on the cusp, being able to somehow align the madness with the creativity. And I've always just kind of resonated with everything you've been able to do, because you've done it at such a top tier level, whether it was in the music. I remember that fucking sick ass guitar you got when you were out here. But just your creativity, the way that you tattoo, the way that you go about thinking outside the box, whether you're using specific programs, just your ability of application has always been fucking mind blowing. Was there a pivotal point in your tattoo career to where you just made a shift where you're like, oh shit, like it just clicked?
To be honest, never. Everything I've done in tattooing has just constantly been searching for my niche, my groove, like, and everything I've learned, everything I've improved in, every different art style I've approached has just been like, is this it? Is this what's gonna just make me happy finally? And then it does for a bit, and then something else interests me, so I'll chase that, and then it just keeps going. Like, I don't know, I always found that one style just, I don't know, it bored me. Yeah. Like, I know I tattoo mostly realism and horror and stuff, but I couldn't imagine just doing portraits forever, or just doing, you know, color roses. As fun as they are to do, they, you know, once you fucking do half a dozen and nail them, it's like, shit, that's stoked, I'm happy with it. Then all of a sudden you're searching for the next thing. You're searching for the next fucking mountain to climb. What am I going to get good at next?
Well, I mean, that was always kind of the cool part, because, I mean, you know, I paid attention. You and I have stayed in pretty good contact over all the years. But when you went from black and gray to just like, well, fuck it, I'm doing color realism now, and then you just owned it. Like, you didn't skip a beat, at least from like an outsider looking in. Like, I think that's something that everyone wants to be able to just do, to flip that switch, you know, just because of the way that maybe it's a self-belief thing, maybe it's such a lack of belief that you have to prove yourself fucking, like, right all the time, because that's where I struggle. I have so much insecurity and so much self-loathing deep down inside me. I have to try new things because I hate everything I do to such a degree that I consistently push the envelope of what I think I can actually accomplish. So my superpower is my insecurity. It's never fucking good enough.
Yep.
But I always know that, you know what? I'm going to try harder, though. Until I either lose my fucking mind or die, I'm going to push it a little further.
Mine was always kind of people telling me no. If someone's like, you know, you can't do that, or fuck, you know, you're going to have to get better to do that. It's like, all right, watch me, motherfucker. Like, this goes the same with traveling the world and guest spotting and like winning at conventions and stuff. Is people like, oh, you'll never get into that shop. That's for top tier cunts. I was like, all right, motherfucker, watch me. And, you know, within 6 months, I was guest spotting with some fucking legends around the world. Same as you know, oh, you'll never win at that convention. I fucking went and did it. And And it was the same a lot with tattooing, and even back when I was playing music, guys were like, oh, you know, to tour the world, to get signed by labels and stuff, you'll never get there, man. It's time to focus on your job. Yeah, fucking watch me. And so I went and did it. Like, I just love it when people tell me I can't do something, because I will do it on purpose.
I think that's probably one of the real reasons why you and I align to such a degree. I think even in that social circle, just in the small little fucking cusp of madness that we were in Des Moines, Iowa, for whatever duration of time you were here, I never remember because I was always very inebriated the entire time. But I think even though it was pure madness and chaos through the duration of it, the ambition that group of people fucking had for that watch me motherfucker, whether it was the way we partied or the way we tattooed or the fact we had these sleepless nights of just fucking art and just these deep dive conversations of what people didn't think was possible. I always like that. That's why you and I stayed in constant contact. We both just grew in so many different directions, but with that same mentality and that same mindset. I mean, you know, I am no longer the fucking party animal. I haven't touched the shit in years, but I still have that same fucking obsession. You know what I mean? Like, where it's still, my back's against the wall, I've got a fire under my ass, and I'm just kicking the shit out of anything that most people think is impossible. And that's what I always loved about you, too. It didn't fucking matter. You were just always so humble and graceful about the whole goddamn thing. It was fascinating to watch.
I don't know. I think it's the only way, well, in my opinion anyway, it's the only way to live. Like, get the most out of every fucking day. Why would you want to just be good at one thing and then be comfortable? Like, you know, I'm not, when it comes down to even life and even tattooing, I'm not knocking other artists that, you know, just do black and grey or just do fucking traditional tattoos or whatever. Like, cool, you found your niche, you're good at it, you make money off it, awesome. But it doesn't make sense to me. I want to do everything. I want to go everywhere. Like, I've always made the joke of, I want to get married just to get divorced one day, just to say that I've fucking done that too, you know? Like, every fucking experience I can have, I want to fucking do it. And that comes down to art, that comes down to tattooing, that comes down to various countries to visit. I want to be fucking 90 years old and, you know, be stone sober and off the drugs and everything, but I'll still fly to Colombia and find some fucking cocaine bar and, you know, get on it just for the fact of getting on it before I go.
Check it off the goddamn bucket list, man. I get it. I mean, well, that's... I feel like that's where most artists nowadays, they shit the bed, man. Like, they go to work, and they consider it work. They go there to be creative, because that's their pedestal, that's their platform. Their egos are blown, they get to be who it is they think they're meant to be, then they go home and they're miserable. They live their lives in like a normal confine of what society's expectations are. They're bored to fucking tears. And they can't figure out why everything isn't working out for them. It's because they're not living creatively.
That's 100%. And to get better, to change your creativity, you got to get around different people. That's why I think guest spots and traveling and conventions are the best thing. Because everywhere you go, you're going to walk along and you're going to see someone doing something different or tattooing differently or doing a different style. And you're going to go home and it's going to set a fire under your ass. If it doesn't, fuck, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I'm different. But I think, okay, so I was telling you in the beginning, I haven't really landed on like a firm fucking title for this podcast because I have so many ideas. But I feel like Creating a Monster is the most aligned solely because of that mentality. Because whether you're looking at the party season that you're in, or the creative season, or even the desire of testing life and really getting to know what its limits are, you have to create a monster inside you to just overcome any fucking obstacle, to challenge any like opposition. And so I think you and I unintentionally just really landed on what the name of this podcast is, because I think if you don't have a monster inside you willing to kick the shit out of any self-doubt that you may have lingering, then you will not succeed in this career or in this life.
100%. You might have a great life, but fuck, it could be so much better.
Yeah. Well, Yeah, okay, so what defines a great life for a creative? You know what I mean? Because creativity as a whole, it's it's dangerous, it's obscure, it's challenging, it goes against all social expectations and social norms. You will never have anyone who truly supports the weird shit you believe, think, feel, or wanna follow through with. So it truly is. I mean, it's the alignment of the old traditional tattoo artist pirate's life for me with some sort of, I don't know, astronaut theology. You know what I mean? You're an astronaut pirate. We're astronaut pirates.
Yep, 100%. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's it's really hard, I think, to put tattooists in a generalization in any way. I mean, there's a lot out there. I don't know. It's probably like this a lot in America, but in Australia, it's a big thing at the moment. I've noticed anyway. Tattooing's just become, like you were saying before, tattooing's just become a job. Like, it's a fucking good job, but to most people out here, it's just a job. It's the 9 to 5. You go home, you pat your cat, you fucking sit down and do tomorrow's design, you go to bed. Like, there's no... I know so many artists who are fucking phenomenal out here, who do stunning work, but they just have no interest in pushing it or getting better or getting their work out there or, you know, making prints, fucking going to a convention. They do not give a fuck. They just want to go to work, come home, cook dinner, fucking sit on the couch, watch Friends or whatever dumb shit's on. Like, and it absolutely boggles my mind that you got into this career, this job of creativity, to just do the job you could do at fucking Costco, you know? It's like you are handed a million opportunities in this fucking job and you just waste them sitting on the couch, and it fucking tears my mind apart how people can do it.
Why do you think, now this is a big ticket fucking question, why do you think that complacency runs so rampant in such a unique fucking amazing career path? Because when you and I got started, you had to be welcomed in. There was no gray. You had to fight tooth and fucking nail to get into it, so you found a little bit more value in the work to do it. Why do you think there's so much complacency in the industry with newer or older artists? Because older artists do it too, you know?
I think these days it's easy. Like, to get into tattooing's become as easy as getting a job at fucking McDonald's. There's a studio on every corner. They're always looking for multiple apprentices sometimes. I know a shop locally that has 5 fucking apprentices and 2 qualified tattooists in it. It's ridiculous. And it's like half of them can't even draw properly. They either hire chicks because they're fucking good looking, or young guys because they're friends with their mum or something. Like, it's become this favor, you know, of not even having to work for it. Like you were just saying, you had to bust your ass. Like, you know, I came up in a shop that was bike club owned. It was fucking rough. And you had to bust your ass. You had to prove yourself. And if you weren't, you were punished in a lot of different fucking ways. And the time mopping the floors and making needles, cleaning tubes, all that fucking bullshit was the payment for learning. And you had to stick it out. And you were fucking abused and you were yelled at. And there's none of that anymore. The character building, skin thickening, now it's, you know, tattooists, their dog's sick or their cat's sick and they have to take a fucking week off. It's like, I understand life happens for a lot of people, but this is, as far as I'm concerned, besides being paid to travel the world like a holiday reviewer or some shit, this is fucking the best job you can have. And people take too much advantage of it because they just treat it like a job. They just go to work, come home. It's like, fucking, the world is your oyster in tattooing. You can do it anywhere. You can go anywhere. You can fucking, if you want, you can make endless money in this job, selling art and prints and conventions and tattooing and going around the world. And it just, like I was saying, it just tears my fucking brain to pieces that people just are happy going to work, coming home, and sitting on their ass with it. I don't understand it.
And in a lot of ways, I think no one is happy, and I think that's the problem. Like, when you're forced and you're obligated to earn a position, to earn that spot, to do something so cool, you no longer look at things as what's going to make you happy, but what's going to fulfill you. You know what I mean? And I think fulfillment is bleak and happiness is fabricated. So people find comfort and they accidentally lie to themselves and say that's happy. This is good enough. I'm doing well. But then they see artists like yourself who, I mean, even you said admittedly, you don't feel like you're the most sought out artist. You're one of the most talented fucking dudes I know. And you travel the world just for shits and giggles and then go back and just pick up your machine and do something fucking mind-blowing because you put in so much initiative. You've created that monster inside you that can do it, but it's because of the value that you built in the craft. Appreciation for what you do surpasses the complacency of just getting comfortable and, like you had said, doing the one thing. You get to travel the world because you've earned that point, you've earned that position in a career that is not meant for everybody. Because it's not just putting a fucking infinity symbol on somebody's skin, getting a high five and getting a fucking sash because you're a cool kid now. Like, it's resilience. It's tough kid shit. You have to have thick skin. But you have to start somewhere, and then you have to grow. Everybody's biggest goal is become a tattoo artist. And then they're just like, nailed it, and just stop. And then just like, well, where the fuck's my trip around the world? And then they get mad at tattooing for it.
There's multiple artists that even, I'm not going to name drop, but there's a few on the Gold Coast who've traveled the world, and people get jealous because they're fucking killing it because they went and chased it instead of, they think it's given to them. Like, all right, I've done tattooing, I've won one small award at a convention. When is fucking, I don't know, Nico Otato going to invite me to his studio? They're just expecting this fucking red carpet. And it's like, no, it doesn't work that way. And when you go out and chase it, holy fuck, you cop some hate. You cop so much hate from the guys who won't go and chase it. Like, people, I know friends of mine out here who have been jobbed into customs in other countries and been sent home because they were, flying over for a convention or something, and then they're not supposed to be doing it that way. Shit like that. And people just get the shits because other people aren't doing it as well. And it's a fucking joke because all you got to do is get off your ass and go and get it. Now, I understand, you get older in tattooing, you have kids, you have families, and it's not as easy, or you want to sort of step back from the bullshit. But you can still fucking create. Like, even a lot of the old school guys I still know still go home and paint and look after their kids. Still create things in different ways. And it's like you were saying before with fucking pirates. The pirate life for me, man. It's whether it's sit at home and still creating things like that, or it's fucking traveling the world and being a nutcase. You're in tattooing. It's not a job. It's, as they say, it's a fucking lifestyle. So you got to live that lifestyle or do a fucking different job.
Yeah. Even pirates evolved. You know what I mean? But they remained on the cusp of insanity and normality. And I think that's where we're obligated to live to flourish. But you had said it in not so many words. It's that must be nice attitude. You know what I mean? Like, you see all of these, like the new generation where they envy, they don't admire. And I value admiring something. I admire you. I don't have envy for, shut up, you. I know, but I mean, I do, man. Like, there are a lot of people that I look up to, that I respect, that I admire because of the quality of work, because of the never say die attitude that they have. Even though I may have it, we have it in different aspects. You know what I mean? And there's things that some people utilize more so than I do, and there's things that I value and utilize more than others do. but I will never say must be fucking nice. I will never say someone's fucking lucky, because I know the punches that it fucking takes to know how to not fall. Everybody has this get knocked down 6 times, get up 7. Why the fuck do you keep getting knocked down? Most of them are just staying down there now. You know what I mean? It's more comfortable to just lay down and take the kicks than it is to get up and fucking push forward. And I don't just see that in tattooing. I see that in general work ethic as a whole, but we don't need to go down that fucking rabbit hole. But I think it really does boil down to the must be nice attitude, because tattooing has become so prominent. It's surpassed the luxury product, where now like people turn 18 every fucking day. You know what I mean? And so it's no longer a luxury product, it's a rites of passage, which means everybody can do one. You can order your tattoo supplies on fucking Amazon, and you've got YouTube, so every cool kid can tat his bros. And I think that waters down the desire to go through the fucking mud to get to the other side. And I think that's kind of where a lot of the problem comes from now, is it's expected, like you had said. It's no different than putting in your application for McDonald's. Just like, well, you know, I've tattooed some of my bros. I'd like my apprenticeship, please. And then that's just the expectation right now.
I'll give it to, I know a couple of people in the States, like I've met on Instagram and in my travels and stuff, that were drawing before, and they, you know, randomly inboxed me, or I met them at a party or whatever, and they're like talking to me about trying to get into tattooing. And I've always steered them in the traditional way. I was like, don't fucking tattoo from home. If I owned a shop and someone came in and said I'm already tattooing, it's like, get the fuck out. You've already learned all the bad habits. And I'm going to have to reteach you everything, and I'm not doing that. So every piece of advice I've ever given is, you know, do it traditionally. Just constantly draw, try different styles. You got to draw at least a couple of pictures a week, because, you know, when you're tattooing, you got to draw a different picture every fucking day. And some of them, it's taken them like 2 or 3 years, but they've fucking gotten there because they just keep drawing, and they keep going back to shops the same as we did. You revisit, have you filled that spot yet? And they fucking get there. And some of the coolest people and now great friends I have around the world are, you know, thankful they met me, because I pushed them in this direction to get it. And now they're actually quite good tattooists, because they didn't learn all those bad habits by buying shit off Amazon. And it's fucking amazing to see that the old school way is still, I think, the best way to do it. Just keep drawing, keep busting your ass, keep ringing up tattoo shops. If they say your drawings suck, go home and watch a fucking YouTube and learn how to draw better. Like, just, if you want to get into this, fucking prove yourself to get into it. This walk-in attitude that I deserve this apprenticeship because my mum told me in 5th grade that my drawings were good and stuck it to the refrigerator. You can eat a fucking dick. Like, no.
Well, okay, that brings me to another point that I actually just forgot. But, all right, so, like, when it comes to, like, actual apprenticeships, I think that needs to be defined now, because I think one of the biggest problems you run into, like you had said, everybody just wants an apprentice, just like everybody just wants an apprenticeship. You know what I mean? People want to have an apprentice because they want to put them through the same ringer they had to go through, but they do a piss poor job of even teaching fundamentals, because all they want to do is have somebody that works under them that can then generate revenue to do the small tattoos, so they no longer have to.
Does the cleaning and picks up their shit for them so they don't have to.
Yeah. But I mean, but they're not teaching the resilience anymore. They're not teaching the mindset shit. And I think part of the force of focus that I've been able to do, like you had said, I have people that I work with who are 15, 20 years in the game who are hitting brick walls and don't know how to adapt or die. I have people who are like 5 years in who are getting off that paint cloud and don't really know how to create the business mindset with the pirate attitude. And I have people who have never stepped foot in an actual apprenticeship but want to know how to. And this is kind of the reason why I say all the time, and I was just telling you before we started, I will say with certainty, and I'll make eye contact when I say I fucking hate tattoo artists. But it's the mentality of, I love the career, I love the craft, I love the job, I love the connection with the clients, I love the production and the appreciation that it gets when you produce something just clean as fuck for that person. You get to help them celebrate, you get to help them commemorate, you get to help them become closer to the person they are. But I hate the attitude that comes with the self-righteousness of the sash, the badge that people wear. And it's because, I think in a lot of ways, it's because tattoo artists aren't teaching the mindset that's required to come with the tattoo career. You know what I mean? Because there's so much more than just teaching somebody the fundamentals. The right angle, the right depth, all that shit is great. It's obviously necessary to produce a quality tattoo. But there's also a lot of self-doubt. There's a lot of imposter syndrome. There's no resilience being created to have belief in what you can produce. And so you just have a bunch of soft dick energy out there just being muddled and reproduced that I think in a lot of ways that's becoming problematic also, you know?
It's watering a lot of shit down. And like you were saying, a lot of egos and shit are fucking out of control. It's, you know, you get young kids and they win one thing at a convention, they win one little trophy, and they, you know, like, I can understand, cool, you've done an achievement, and that's awesome, you should be fucking proud of it. But to then be walking around with your fucking dick hanging out, you know, the tattooists that just start hitting on every chick on fucking Instagram, becoming creeps. It's fucked. It's like, how to fucking word it? Not the new generation, because it's across every generation. Fucking heaps of people do it. But without the rough sort of teaching of the older days, yes, things have gotten a bit softer. And I'm trying to think of how to fucking explain it the best without just coming off as a total piece of shit.
That's part of the pirate life, man.
It is. It's the pirate life for fucking me, 100%. But I can't remember what podcast it was on. I think it was a podcast. Maybe it was just something on fucking YouTube or something, or Instagram. But there was a tattooist who was ranting about this similar shit, and people coming up through the ranks and thinking they're fucking rock stars, thinking they're Tommy Lee from Motley Crue walking in the convention. And he was saying, it doesn't matter how famous you get, how many likes you get, how many followers you get, you're never going to be a rock star. You're never going to be famous. Like, the most liked and famous tattooists in the world could still just walk into fucking Walmart and no one knows who they are. Like, this is not a job for fame. You're never going to get stopped in the street and ask for a fucking autograph. Like, it doesn't happen. I mean, maybe if you're fucking Kat Von D, but that's for different reasons, you know?
Yeah.
If you're just a fucking artist, you're just a fucking artist. Like, get your head out of your ass, do a fucking painting, take over the goddamn world with your creativity, because you're not going to do it in a fucking movie.
Here's what I think is valuable about that statement is, in a way, I think everyone looks for the Tommy Lee fame, but what they don't value is the fact when you, as Rah, do a tattoo, you get to see the tattoo. You're like, either nailed it or fuck me, wish I would have done it better. But when a client sees that tattoo, they don't just walk around with a piece of art on them. They have an entire experience that they will remember forever. And if you're a scumfuck, soft dick shitbag, they're going to remember you for that forever. You know what I mean? So yes, you're famous. You have a good reputation or a bad reputation with each individual you come into contact with. Period. And if you don't rack up each and every little win or loss and get to adjust accordingly because of that experience that you provide, you're going to be seen as that, because that memory is forever. Tattooing, like it or not, forever is a really fucking long time for some people. And they'll remember you. So that's one great thing about having a really good reputation and having a really good mindset when it comes to being a tattoo artist is, like you said, it doesn't fucking matter how many likes you get. You get one perfect client journey, one great client experience, that person will tell 10 friends. If that person hangs out in a good quality circle of people, you then attract those people. You know what I mean? And so if you aren't focused on your mindset, on your belief system, but if you still maintain that pirate life attitude of still just knowing I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it good, and I don't give a fuck, but you're also a gentleman about the process and you don't carry the ego, you're more confident, then you create this fame that rock stars can't get. Rock stars don't meet a fan one-on-one like that and create that kind of impact.
Sorry?
No, go ahead.
There's one thing I noticed in a lot of places, and it sounds bad, but America's quite guilty of this, the time I spent there, there is a very big arrogance in a lot of tattooists, but I don't think it's ego because of fame or anything. I just think it's they're tired of a lot of people's shit. I met a lot of people in shops, and I still talk to people in shops who complain about this. Guys or chicks will come in for tattoos, and the tattooist is just like, yep, what do you want? Sit down. There you go. Fuck off. Like, there's no interaction. There's no fun. You don't lighten the experience. There's just no interaction at all. And it's like, you're not going to get recommended to somebody if you're just some grumpy cunt. Like you were saying, you have to build a relationship with that person because they are going to recommend you to somebody else. And it doesn't matter. It's like being in a fucking taxi, drunk as fuck at 3 a.m. and there's that question that always comes out like, oh, you had a busy night, mate? Like taxi drivers get asked that 1,000 times a fucking night, and they got to go through the same story of, oh, yeah, it's been not too bad. When the football game ended, it got busier. And it's the same with tattooing. Oh, how'd you get into tattooing? I can't believe you can do this. I can't even draw a stick man. The amount of times we've all heard that shit. But you just got to laugh it off and, it's easy. Or fuck, I could teach you how to draw a stick man. And it's the same dumb conversations, but you have to have them. You have to relate to your client. You have to laugh with them. I mean, we all get those clients which you just can't fucking stand. You can't wait for them to leave. They either haven't showered or their attitude sucks or whatever, but you still got to pretend. It's still a customer service industry. You got to smile, fucking, yeah, don't worry, mate. You smell good, whatever. And that's the only way you're going to get anywhere. The only way you're going to get those likes is by being a likable person. I'm not the most likable person. I have fucking my flaws and I don't particularly like people, but I will pretend to because that's the fucking job.
Now, do you have a dialed in client journey? You know what I mean? Like, so for me, the client journey is everything from first interaction until the healed process. You know what I mean? Like in the interaction that you have within that time frame, I call it the client journey, because if a client can go out and tell their friends what that client journey was like from first interaction to healed tattoo, then they become your salesperson. And that's something that I have fucking dialed in. Mm. Do you have a client journey that like you have really like penciled in, or is it just kind of
yes and no. It's very randomized. I'll give it that. I am pretty open with how clients contact me. A lot of people are like, email only or whatever. I don't give a fuck. Message me on any social media. I'll answer you. Because I like to give people a lot of option to be able to reach out to me. Instead of just having this one path, I've got 10 different ones. It takes a while to go through messages, but you get there. So from that, it's the basic booking. Most of the time, it's a consult online because it's just easier than having to come down to the shop. But from the actual tattoo process, I don't know, I just try and be one of their I wouldn't say a journey, but I just try and be one of their mates. You sit down, you laugh, you talk shit, you get the design done, you stencil, you do the fucking tattoo. But then after the tattoo, I think that's the journey for me, because it's not about just getting them out and that's it, next client. Like, I will keep in contact with my clients. I will message them after 2 days and see how it's healing. I will message them after a week and see how it's healing. See what fucking aftercare cream they're using, because no, don't use that. That's fucking trash. Try this shit. Message them after 2 weeks. Message them after a month. Like, after 3 months, get them back for a healed photo. Like, I want them to know that I give a shit about the tattoo as much as like them coming in. Like, I appreciate their fucking business. I appreciate them coming to me and trusting me to do whatever the fuck it was. You know, I don't want them to just come in, get a tattoo, me get their money, and maybe I'll see them for progressive work. I want them to know that I fucking want their work and I give a shit how it heals. Oh, damn, that bit, you fell off your bike and that bit ripped. Don't worry, man. When we do your next session, when we add on to that skull, we'll go back and touch that up. Won't cost you anything, you know. Make them feel like they fucking need to come back to you. They're terrified to go to someone else because they're like, I'm not going to get this fucking service somewhere else.
That's... It saddens me that I don't hear that kind of like client relationship though, because that's really what it is. The one thing that I always fight most against with any artist is, again, they look for the amount of likes, they look for how many followers they can get, but they don't create relationships. And that's really what it is. You said it first, all right? So I'm going to agree. I don't fucking like people. You know what I mean? But I do value the people who want what I do, and I'm going to treat them with such a level of respect and appreciation because they're allowing me to do what I do. And if you can create a quality client journey, they're going to listen to you as the professional. But if you don't give them the time of day, they're going to come in with the most accurate Pinterest image they can find and not give you much fucking wiggle room. If you then pay really close attention to the healing process, the likelihood of them being your client for return projects is really fucking good. You know what I mean? I can tell you some of my clients' kids' names because we get so in-depth in conversation. And it's important because you do create relationships. We're not spending Christmas together, but there's a real good fucking likelihood we're going to have a pretty steady conversation to figure out what's going to look best with this piece that we just finished. How are we going to design the rest of the sleeve? And we're doing your first tattoo. By the end of it, you and I already know what the rest of the sleeve is going to look like and how all the elements are going to fit together because I
100%.
want your arm to look cool.
Even if they're just getting something small, you can discuss bigger things with them while they're getting the fucking tattoo. Or even during aftercare, when you're checking up on them after a week, you can be like, you know what, I was thinking the other day, what would look really cool added onto that. And then you fucking convince them to come back and get the tattoo extended. Go and get the work. When you think about it, the client is your boss. They're your employer. They are paying you for your fucking time. Yeah. So you need to have a good fucking relationship with them. Same as you may not like them. Like, no one really likes their fucking boss. But you still got to have a relationship with them because they're paying your fucking bills.
Yeah. Okay, so assistant or do you do your own booking?
I do mine. I've had assistants in the past. They've always fucked them up. So, or done something wrong, and I like to think I have a pretty easy process, but people still manage to mess it up. So yeah, I just do it all by myself. Yeah, I'd like an assistant because, you know, social media is the thing now and everyone's doing reels and all that bullshit, and I don't fuck with it, but you need to in this day and age. So I'd like to get an assistant just for that, but I don't know. I just can't really be bothered at the moment. I'll look into it in the future.
Yeah, we can have that back talk. I've got people that help me out with all that shit. Dude, I mean, still to this day, like, the Force of Focus has 26,000 followers. My tattoo page, 2,500. You know what I mean? I love that because tattooing is a local relationship building platform. I don't give a fuck how many people in South Africa follow my tattoo page because I'm not tattooing fucking people. You know what I mean? I can manage a single conversation, a one-on-one dialogue creating conversation with my local community and book most of them. I'm not going to do that shit on the Force of Focus. You know what I mean? Here, I get to build relationships with people. I have clients in Australia and New Zealand, a couple cats that I'm talking to in South Africa, and that's amazing because I know I'm not going to tattoo them, but I can help them create the same structure that you and I are discussing right now. My tattoo page is underdeveloped, gets a less value of attention, but the clients get 100% more of my attention because of that, because they are paying my bills. They will sit in my chair. I will meet them face to face one day. You know what I mean? And everybody's so worried about that social media clout, how many fucking followers they have and how many likes they get, but they're not interacting back. Social media is a fucking social platform. But we're not socializing back. Everybody wants to be seen and heard. If you want to get a good client, Make sure they know that they were seen. If they like your art, like their picture, their goddamn. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean?
I think something that's extremely toxic. Anytime anyone asks me about tips for getting clients and social media and stuff, I always bring this up. So many tattooists, or probably 90% of tattooists out there, they will post shit on social media or not post things on social media because other tattooists will see it. Like they are afraid to post their availabilities, or that they'll do a tattoo for cheap because they want to learn, like, you know, half price for this because I really want to do the picture. A lot of artists will think that that's going to lower my standards in the eyes of peers because I'm not busy, or clients are going to think I'm not good because I'm quiet or I'm dead at the moment, which is the dumbest shit ever. Like, other tattooists aren't paying your bills. Fuck them. You are advertising yourself, same as anyone else out there is. If you want to do shit for cheap, fucking put it up for cheap, because someone's going to take it and your rent's paid next week. If you're dead, advertise that shit. Like, I fucking can't stand Grant Cardone. Fuck, he annoys me. But he has one thing in there, like in one of his books, he talks about when you're talking to a client, you need to act like they're going to, the money you get off them is going to feed you next week or something. Even if you're rich, you have to treat that client like your fucking life depends on it. And you do, every single client, because you don't know when the next one's going to come. You don't know if your rent's going to be paid next week. All right, you might be super famous and have all the money, but fuck, one day it's going to dry up. Like, even the most famous fucking tattooists still have dead weeks because people can't afford $5,000 for a tattoo. Like, you have to treat every client like you worship their fucking business. Doesn't matter how difficult they are. And I don't care what any other fucking tattooist says. Like, oh no, that's too difficult, or I don't want to have to deal with this. No, fuck that. Get that money, treat them like gold, because they could go home and they could be fucking Brad Pitt's cousin. Next minute, that cunt's in your shop getting tattooed. Then you're fucking viral and everyone's coming to you or whatever. Like, you don't know what people are doing. It's that one extra client or that one annoying client could be your fucking breakout. Treat them all like gold.
That was my biggest game changer. I can't remember what book it was. It may have even been one of the Grant Cardone books, sadly. I don't want to say sadly because I use like his 10X planner, and that helped me structure a lot of shit in my life. You know
he's he rants well. He's good, but yeah.
But even so, like I did a lot of things. I learned a lot of valuable lessons from not tattoo industry shit. The reason I'm good at what I do is because of coaches, mentors, and reading a lot of shit from people who are not in the tattoo industry, because I applied actual business strategies to what it is I do. Number fucking one. Show up more excited. That's weird. Show up more excited. Show up more excited than your fucking client. I will tell a client when I meet them, if I'm not as excited about your tattoo as you are, I will find you someone in my studio who is. Because what will wind up happening is, A, you don't create a bad reputation, you don't burn a bridge. They still get that quality tattoo, even if you were not the one doing it. So right now I'm booked out until June. And what is it right now? We're almost to February. I don't know when I'm going to put this one out. So I'm booked from February to June. If a client is in a rush, they want to get it done a little sooner, I will let them know. I will find you somebody who will produce as good, if not more quality work in what it is you want, so that you still get what it is you want in-house. Because that still gives me a good reputation. It gives my studio all of the credit that it requires, plus another one of my artists at the studio gets to do something fucking cool as shit. Or not. I don't know, whatever the fucking content is. But if you don't want to feel like you have competition, offer a superior product. And your product doesn't have to be your tattooing, it can be your experience. But if you're not willing to create a personal brand in yourself, then all you are is a door-to-door encyclopedia salesman. You know what I mean? And
I've sent clients to other studios because people in where I work, no one does that type of work. Yeah. But obviously I have a lot of friends around the Gold Coast who work other studios who specialize in certain shit. So I'm like, no, you need to go to them. And then you have a good relationship. Like, if no one in your studio does this shit, obviously recommend them to another shop, I think. But keep as much as you can in-house. But it does create also, I think, a friendly thing between a lot of shops, which I get a lot of work out of. Because when someone goes to that chick or whatever and says, I want this, and they're like, I can't do this, but go and see fucking Rah. Then you've got cross-shop friendships. You're going to get recommended to each other, so you're going to get more work. The artists are going to trust each other better because they're saying no, like you were saying, because someone else can do a better job. They're going to be more happy with the tattoo. And then it's like, oh, well, if you want some fine line work, then come back to me, and then I can recommend shit to them. It's like, it's, you know, the era that we came up in where you had to be good at everything, anything that walked in the door. As much as I enjoyed that, and you know, you get paid a lot because you're doing fucking anything, and it throws your art style in the deep end because you have to learn everything. But it's not like that anymore, where you can just do one thing and then you get known for doing that one thing. As much as I'm not particularly a fan of that, I still like to try and do different things and grow my fucking artwork, as I was talking about before. It does bring you a lot more trust in certain stuff, I think. Like I was saying, when someone goes to a fine line artist that says, I want a realistic skull, and they're like, no, I can't do that. Go and fucking see Rah. Because you get known for certain shit, so that, as you were saying, that develops more trust in that artist and you, and then they're going to tell their friends, and then that's going to be more work. And it's, you know, social media sucks, but networking is the business.
Yeah. So one of my favorite questions to ask tattoo artists, and I get a lot of pushback on this question, but I don't give a shit because it's fun for me. I ask people, do you want to be a tattoo artist or do you want to be successful? Because I think that there's a different tier in tattooing when you truly become successful, and that's when that networking occurs. That's when you have value for people who are across the coast, who are like across the street, who are like down in another county, wherever the fuck you land. You can value each other and realize you're not competition because you're all still producing quality fucking work. It's the low guys, the people who don't value themselves, who will do anything. And it's that turn and burn attitude. Like, they just try to stockpile all the little $50 fucking tattoos. And how many $50 tattoos do you have to do to feel successful? You don't. You know what I mean? If you want to feel truly successful, network, create community in and amongst the fucking valuable artists, the quality fucking artists who just, we're all in it to produce real cool shit. If you ever come here to tattoo, I know whole fucking heartedly what I will not be doing, and that's Rah shit. And that's because I value you. Dude, I still come to you with, I don't know, what should I do different? You know what I mean? And I've done that with you since I met you. And I try to do that as frequently as possible because that is networking. I think it's important that we all share those little things with each other.
Oh, 100%. You're not going to get the same ideas out of your head as you are out of someone else's head. Whether, you know, does this flow? Does this go with that? It might to you, but to someone else, it's, no, that's fucked. Like, and this brings up the controversial thing of fucking AI. Everyone is ragging off about AI art at the moment. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I think it's awesome. It comes back to that, you know, keep up or get left behind. And it's not going anywhere. It's only going to get out there and more prevalent, and shit, there's crypto that backs it now. Like, it's not going fucking anywhere. But I use it because someone wants a fucking Odin tattoo or some shit, or a tiger, some generic shit. You can type it into that and it will give you ideas that you will never fucking think of, that no artist would ever think of. It will put things in certain positions and move things around, and you'd be like, holy fuck. And then you can redraw that image to be more tattooable in an idea that blows people's fucking heads off. And that's what I love about it. it takes your art, everyone else's art, and makes it, I won't say better, just a different version.
So before AI, how many of the same yawning lion images did you see? You know what I mean? That same dumbass lion doing the that shit. It was the same. It was the same picture every time. Now you type in roaring, or I think the lion just looks like he's fucking yawning. But whatever you're into, you type that shit into AI, you're gonna get a different generated one with different prompts. And you can really get some emotion out of it. You can give somebody something no one else will have. How many people are walking around that same fucking lion from the early 2000s that everybody wanted? The same compass and the same roses. Now AI gives each individual an opportunity to have a different fucking tattoo again.
Yeah, everyone remembers the old school flash sheets, and everyone's getting the same rose that looks like a fucking cabbage. And now it's come to a point that when people come in to get a tattoo, they expect their own fucking tattoo. Unless they're getting a portrait of fucking Kobe or, the big thing on the Gold Coast is like Peaky Blinders and Pablo Escobar and shit like that. Everyone loves that shit out here. They're obviously going to be the same because they're fucking characters. But, yeah, when you're doing mythological creatures, evil monsters, fucking skulls, tigers, lions, shit you can make up in AI, there's no excuse to be doing the same shit off Pinterest that people were doing 10 years ago. Like, mix it up, do something different, blow someone's mind. Like, you don't have to sit down and go, I designed this on your fucking iPad when you didn't do nothing but type in tiger in the fucking Midjourney. But to be able to take something off that, use it as a base and make it better is because you are still doing your own art. It's still original to you. You just got some help, which is what fucking tattooing is. It's instead of asking your peers, what should I do to this fucking tiger to make it original? You've already done that.
Well, I mean, how obscure do you have to get to do an original tiger? You know what I mean? It's a fucking tiger.
Some of the shit I've seen coming out of fucking AI, they're pink, they're fucking, the stripes are in the shape of dicks. It's, it's the whole thing.
I would tattoo, I would definitely tattoo a dick tiger.
A dick tiger? Fucking oath.
Yeah.
A tiger?
All right, I'm going to Midjourney when we get done with this call. So, is Midjourney still your go-to?
It is now, because it was kind of the OG, and you do get amazing quality shit out of it. But I'm starting to look into other ones, just because Midjourney is really strict on what you can write and say. Like, especially as someone that does a lot of horror stuff, if I type in like blood or flesh or anything remotely offensive, death, it just flags it and it won't let you create it, which is a bit shit.
Even words like beautiful, like you can't use like elegant words in a lot of ways.
No, I typed, what was it? Sexual, like someone in a sexual pose or some shit, and it was like, nah, I'm not doing that. It's just like, fuck, it's not like I was typing fucking dicks,
Yeah.
But so yeah, I'm looking at other ones, but I currently use Midjourney.
Yeah. So for those of you who want to use Midjourney, dicks are out. That's kind of
I think you just got to word it better. Maybe use like phallus or something. It might work,
Yeah, absolutely. So long story short, have a better mindset, and dicks are inappropriate on Midjourney. The phallus. Go with the more top tier terms.
Yeah.
Okay. So I do love that, because I think in tattooing, things are always going to grow. You know what I mean? Whether you believe in AI or not. And I've gotten a lot of pushback on that same shit. I don't care. Fucking Skynet. We've all seen Terminator. I'd rather be on the side of the shit that's gonna win. I want to know how to use technology.
Right.
But
hey man, everyone fucking lost their shit when people started using Procreate and rotary machines and cartridges. Oh fuck that. They won't last. They'll be dead in a year. And now look at that shit. AI. Yeah. Oh, that's fucked. It's not real art. It's going to be the entire world soon. Like, just deal with it. It's here.
Well, I think the funny thing is the people who push back on it the most were still like referencing Google Image and Pinterest. You know what I mean? You don't it's change. People just don't like change. They don't like to have to learn something new because they get very comfortable with what they were doing. And tattooing, like it or not, is fucking adapt or die. That's why a lot of the older tattoo artists, like, they wind up finding that complacency and that comfort is because they get really good at what they're doing and they don't want to have to change that. I mean, even old pirates die because they refuse to change the tactics of how they navigate their sea, in essence. And that's just kind of the reality of it. You have to have new tricks, new fucking tactics, new ways to go through it to be able to consistently adapt and evolve. And that's anything in life. Like, going back to where we started. You have to be able to navigate and have that madness and be willing to try new shit and always challenge yourself. And it's always going to be technological now. Technological will be the new challenge. Skin will always suck. Skin will always be different. That's always going to be a challenge in itself. But the way that you go about creating designs is what's going to separate the Cherry Creek flash sheets from the quality, like, superior product.
Like, you've got kids that are going to be apprentices now who are like, there's an apprentice at my studio and the boss introduced him to AI the other day, showed him like the new feature in Photoshop where you can just drag a square and say, like, put a lighthouse in, and it'll give you a few options of a lighthouse on a cliff or whatever. And it blew his fucking head off. He had no idea about this sort of shit. But this is where it's going. The new kids coming through have access to way more art ideas and techniques, especially with every second tattooist like dropping seminars and stuff at the moment as well. There's so much free information on fucking YouTube, on AI sites, tattooists selling seminars. There is no excuse not to keep evolving. If you're stuck in your ways and you're you're not getting work, or you're not happy with your tattooing, there is absolutely no excuse not to be doing better, because you have fucking endless shit out there. You could stop tattooing tomorrow and learn to be a goddamn lawyer off fucking YouTube. Like, you could do anything and find any fucking information out there, but people just go back to their safe bubble, like we were saying, go to work, go home. Oh, my tattoos aren't going viral. So get out there and fucking do something about it.
So, do you think it's more of a lack of ambition, or do you think it's a self-belief issue?
I think it's neither. I think it's, regarding like the future of tattooing and AI and stuff, it's just, you're just too set in your ways. It's like, it's like old people sitting back going, oh, back in my day I had to walk 40 kilometers to school over 20 hills through the snow. Like, yeah, fucking big deal. I've got a Segway. I don't actually, but you could just buy one and zip to school in 10 fucking minutes now.
I was really hoping you actually had a Segway.
No, fuck that. I like my legs working. But that's the point. That's evolution. That's the future. That's how we're going. That's how tattooing's going. That's how the internet's going. That's how, there's glasses now that can read your fucking eyes where you're looking. You take a photo of something and it'll bring up every piece of information about it. Like, we don't live in the fucking 50s anymore. Like, you don't need to just do one thing. Like, I was reading a book recently that originally tattooing was a trade, just like being a brickie, or just like, being a fucking construction guy. It was just a dirty trade. You didn't have to be good at art because you were just tracing line drawings written by other people. But now it's an entirely different game, and it's an entirely different game because of the people who weren't afraid to fucking step outside the box. The first people, everyone lost their fucking mind when, people still talk about that episode that Nico Hurtado tattooed Kat Von D on that fucking whatever it was episode. Did the portrait on her hip, because that was one of the first big wild color portraits that had ever been like displayed on a huge scale, and that motherfucker changed the industry. He put color portraiture work out there And holy fuck, look at the evolution that it's come now. You've got, guys coming out of Europe who you can't even explain what type of fucking artwork it is. It's just all this mixed media, wild shit together. You've got that Valentina chick who does still life fucking tattooing. Like, no stencil, just gets someone to sit down and does it like a fucking life drawing. That is insane. Like, these wild steps in tattooing are because people take the fucking initiative to do something different. And AI is a big step for that, because you can make things that you never fucking dreamed of, and it's introducing entirely new styles to the genre. And that's why I fucking love this shit.
All right, so we talked about AI. What are your thoughts on automation?
Oh, in what way?
All right. So this is where I had to draw the line. I actually sat in on a sales call just to kind of like hear the guy out on people automating their entire process, from interaction, consultation, booking. They automate the entire process. Now, his sales tactic was it saves tattoo artists time, because you automate the response then funnels you into a landing page. That landing page gives you the opportunity to put down your deposit, book your own time, and then does the consultation for you, so you actually don't physically interact with your client until they show up for their tattoo.
There's a couple of guys in my studio who have a website set up like that, and I know a lot of people that do, just so they can, all they do is send back a confirmation and it's fucking done. I fucking hate it. To be honest, I think it's fucking stupid, because we're not Shopify stores. We are people, they are people. You want, like we were talking about before, you need that relationship. Yes, it makes your job easier and gives you more time, but I will gladly sacrifice 5 fucking minutes to answer somebody on Instagram and make a personal booking with them, just to talk to them like a fucking friend. Like, hey bro, that idea is sick. Like, what if we add this to it? What if we change that? Oh, I never thought of that. Fucking sick. Next minute, you've gone from a fucking half sleeve, you've talked them into a full sleeve and half a back job, because you're like, what if we build this? Yeah, sick. Book me in. Here's deposit for 10 appointments. You don't get that from fucking little website sign up shit. Start the relationship from the consult.
I'm so glad we went this direction with it, because I fucking hate everything about it. I will rant and rave about, you can be a subpar artist with an amazing client experience and like a really good connection with a person, and you will be able to grow with that person. If you cut yourself off and you automate everything, you are now you become just kind of a prostitute with clothes on. You know what I mean? Like, you have no connection, there's no interaction, there's absolutely no bedside manner to the entire thing, so to speak. And you will not get good rapport or a good reputation because there's never been connection. I think some things need to remain. The reason that robots will never replace tattoo artists is that human element. And the funny part is, the gentleman who was trying to sell me on this automation process was saying, I work with a lot of artists who like they're newer, they want to be able to save themselves time, they don't have enough time to, or they don't know how to acquire their own clients, so automation does it for them. It's like, if these motherfuckers feel like they don't have any time but they're not tattooing, what are they doing with their time? I will spend, alright, so you know me, I'm crazy structured. I have time windows blocked out just to sit down and interact with people, because they know they're getting me. I am that personal brand. Automation takes that away from us. We don't get to create that connection anymore. And when you take that human element out of it, design with robots all you fucking want. Hell yeah, you know what I mean? Because you're still the one doing the art at the end of the day, so it still has a human element to it. But if your interaction, if you're booking, it is no longer your job. You're going to have clients who book less time than what's required. You're going to have clients that book a full day but don't have the money to pay for that day. They want a 3-hour tattoo, but they book 8 hours. How do you navigate through that? How do you take the time to say, well, you have 8 hours, let's utilize that time properly by adding this, this, and that to make your tattoo something of significance you want to wear? You know, there's so many things that people just don't value within that human interaction. Because I think it goes back to the value of what it is we truly do. We're in the service industry. You know what I mean? You have to serve people. Does that sound weird? You know what I mean? Like you really have to like be a part of that process. I just wanted to see because again, like AI and automation they're along the same parallel, but I think some things are amazing. Other things are they're along the same parallel because automation is done through AI processing in the same like computer nerd shit that I don't understand. But yeah, that's just kind of my belief. And a lot of people are leaning that direction because it does fast track the process. It's just a plug and play. You just show up, you do your tattoo, and
people. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. People that say that they don't have time are fucking full of shit. Like, you know, this goes back to what I was saying before. I know a lot of tattooists have kids. They want to spend time with their kids and their wife, and they want to go and do shit. But you always have had time. You had time when you're like when we were an apprentice and we had to draw 1,000 fucking pictures a week, find time to tattoo your friends, mop the floors. Like, I don't know about you fuckers, but the guys that I worked for a bit sort of made me do some shady shit just to get paid. Like, there was always time. If you didn't, you made time. Like, most people when I was a fucking apprentice, you tattooed on the side, then you were working bar jobs or night jobs just to pay your fucking bills. You got 2-3 hours sleep and you're back mopping the floors at the shop again. Like, there is always fucking time. It's a testing job, but it's a fucking good job. And it doesn't take long to answer a fucking message. Like, automation is, I think it takes more from your client than almost anything. Like, I can't stand it when customers come in and just sit down and don't talk. Like, cool, you want to watch your phone and watch TikTok and get your mind off the pain, that's cool. But when they just sit down and you put the stencil on and they're just like, yep.
It's the most uncomfortable feeling in the world.
And you're just like, you know, you're trying to fucking break that wall down. You're like, man, is it cool? Do you want me to change anything? Like, you know, what do you do for a fucking living? And they're just like, nothing. It's fucking awful. Like, why would you want to make that worse by making a computer do your fucking job? It just puts up another wall that they have to try and get past. Like, even though these days tattooers aren't what they used to be, they're not the fucking dirty bikies that they used to be, but people are still intimidated to walk in tattoo shops. Especially young kids, young girls and shit. You walk in and there's 10 big tattooed fucking 35-year-olds. Like, it's fucking intimidating sometimes. So you got to be friendly. You have to make them feel welcome, and that starts at the message. And I will never automate anything like that. Even when I had an assistant, it was always like they had to introduce themselves, like, hi, my name's this, I am Rah's assistant, thanks for the message, blah, blah, he needs this information. It was always a grateful fucking thing, like, fuck, thanks for messaging. Like, he can't wait to fucking do this tattoo. And, you know, you don't feel that from a message. You can write thank you 1,000 times on an automated email. They don't give a fuck. If you type it in a fucking message, they're like, fuck yeah.
And I don't mean this to be gender biased, but I've always hired women assistants because the utilization of emojis and excitement just comes off differently. And if I don't have the time to get to my messages, because I do the Force of Focus, I do leadership for JW Fit, and I tattoo still, so I need people to help me on the back end so everybody gets the attention they deserve. But I refuse to automate that process. When Katie does my my outreach and does my responses, I can read how she responds to people, and I get excited by seeing the crazy level of explanation points and emojis she uses. I get excited to read what my response was. You know what I mean? And people require that. They don't care as much that it's me specifically right away. Because I do the consultation process. I go through all that, obviously. I give people all the time they need to sit down, make eye contact, do all that shit. But when people see that it's another person responding to them in a timely fashion, that is that first interaction. The first minute you respond is when that experience, that journey, I call it, starts. You gotta make it a good one, you know?
Yeah, I get people, like, I'll respond to a message that was sent an hour ago, and they'll be like, oh, fuck, I didn't expect a response so soon. Thanks, bro. Like, you've already started on a good foot. Like, because some, you know, I know tattooists here that they'll do, like, consult days, like one day every 2 weeks, one day every month, where they'll just answer everything, or they'll have in-person consults like once a month. And it's like, even as a tattooist, I wouldn't wait for that. That motherfucker has gone, like, left me on red, or my shit's been unopened for 5 days. Fuck this, I'm hitting someone else up. Like, I'm not sitting around waiting a month.
Yeah,
I don't care who you fucking are.
With social media, there's a real world likelihood that whether it's a walk-in tattoo or a quality tattoo, you are not always the one person they message. Unless you've already built that rapport with somebody, if you're working with a new client, there's a chance that they've already looked at a couple different people. You were just one of the first on the list. Someone else will respond faster. You know what I mean? And I wonder that all the time. Because I do see a lot of, like you're paying attention to people's stories. Like, sorry it took me so long to get back to your messages. I'll be responding to everybody on Wednesday. You just spent 5 minutes wording the proper apology and didn't respond to a single person because you penciled out time in the future to respond to everybody when you could have just gotten somebody booked in now. It's also the same people that say every 2 or 3 days, had a cancellation, I have an opening, somebody, like, you know, like all that shit. And if you create a really good rapport with your clients, your cancellations, your no-shows will go down. I did a piece of content the other day that was about people getting really upset that they have cancellations, that they have no-shows. But these are also, like, that happens pretty frequently to people who don't even show up for themselves. They don't keep promises to themselves. If you're not accountable to yourself, and if you don't carry yourself with a certain sense of pride and a certain sense of professionalism, people are not going to look at you any different than that. But when you show up every day, you're consistent, you're responding to your messages, you show people the kind of person you are, they will respect you in a much different light because of the way you present yourself, the way you carry yourself, and the professionalism that you project into your social media, your client experience, the way you produce art, etc., etc. And it just, to me, it is a self-belief thing. People get so bogged down with the sense of urgency because they haven't prioritized, that they don't have a structured system to it. They haven't prioritized their clients. They haven't prioritized themselves. And they're just kind of lost in the mess of all of it.
It's, especially with, like, you know, Instagram Reels and TikTok and shit, motherfuckers have attention spans of 12 seconds.
Yeah.
If you're going a week without answering someone, they are fucking gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Man, we've been going for a pretty goddamn long time here. Rah, do you still do hand carbons? Do you still carbon everything by fucking hand?
Oh, man, I haven't done any of that shit for fucking years. I haven't even looked at it. I don't even own anything that carves anymore. Being that I got right into my traveling and stuff for a long time, I got rid of fucking everything just to make my life lighter. Like, you know, I moved to England from Australia about 2 years ago. I spent a bit of time there. So I basically sold my entire fucking life. So I don't really have too much at the moment going on.
Yeah.
I got like a shit ton of drawing paper and some paintings that I'm fucking with, but I live a lot simpler life these days. I don't delve too much into other mediums as much as I used to.
Yeah. Do you have a daily regimen that you maintain consistently? I know you're into fitness now and all that shit, but do you have like a structured schedule that you try to uphold that keeps momentum? Or?
I mean, yes and no. So I was just waiting for the thing to catch up. Yes and no. I mean, obviously I go to the fucking gym every day. I go for big ass walks every day. I fucking have my meal prep and stuff, but I don't have a daily regimen. But I have I guess a weekly regimen. I have quite a few projects on at the moment. Like I'm starting a fucking YouTube. I'm working on my own aftercare product. I'm trying to get this weird little cocktail fucking business off the ground as well on the side, as well as trying to fit in paintings and fucking other things and plan my next travel. So I got a pretty busy life. Hey, and I can still find time to answer fucking emails. But I usually I'll plan like one night a week for each thing. Like, you know, Mondays I'll come home and I'll write fucking YouTube scripts and get pictures and shit for whatever. The next night I'll sit down and I'll, you know, play with my fucking aftercare recipe and make different types and add fucking whatever and see what that does. The night after that I'll fucking work on my painting. I'll work on my drawing. The night after that I'll just do random designs for people who will like, just do whatever. I just want something scary. Then I've got fucking 100 of them sitting there waiting. Like I won't say I have a structure, but it's a loose plan, I guess I'll call it that. I have a pretty hectic life. I'm always going somewhere, going for dinner with friends, fucking going to the beach. Even though I look pale as fuck, I still actually do see the sun. Yeah, I like to get out of the fucking house, so I don't have a strict fucking plan of everything I do because I like to live a little bit. But there is a loose generalization, and I don't care if I'm up till 3 a.m. getting a fucking script done or making fucking cream on the stovetop trying to play with fucking recipes and shit. I will stay up all night. I'll get that shit done. So that's done. I don't have to fucking do it tomorrow. I've got free time. That's what caffeine's for, man. Just fucking get up, get a coffee, and shut up and get back to work.
Dude, it's fucking like 9:30 here. This episode brought to you by Bucked Up. Although it's not a corporate sponsor, I'll be working my way in there.
Paradox Coffee.
I totally agree, but you know me. I am stupid structured. You know what I mean? Like, I wake up at 2:45 in the morning. I'm in bed probably by 10 p.m. Like, I worry more about the time I go to sleep than the time I wake up. I have my gym regimen. I have my nutrition locked in. I have all of my Force of Focus stuff. I still do writing. I'm still painting as frequently as I can. I have to get all my art done. I have to make sure my clients get the attention they do. I am laser focused in it. And sometimes I admire having that.
I would like that. Trust me. I would like that, but I'm too all over the place. I just get distracted by something and, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's my problem. I lock myself in this office. Like, I have a son. Well, I mean, you know that. So I have a 9-month-old son I have to spend my time with. He will sit down here while I draw, while I do my client calls. And so, like you said, there's tattoo artists who are still very successful that find time to do it all because it's what matters. And I think that's kind of the thing. Why people say they don't have time, it's not because they don't have time. It's because their organization and their care is so minimal. You know, they don't know what they like. So they're doing a bunch of shit just to fill spaces, and they realize most of that shit doesn't fill their cup, so they just get bummed out about the way life goes. If you find shit you love to do, just do a lot of it and feel rewarded, feel fulfilled.
I don't even think it's so much. I mean, obviously we all need shit we love to do. But one thing I fucking love about your channel is that show up for yourself shit. Is everyone like anyone who has a job knows this. You fucking have to get up because there's a client waiting for you. Whether you hate that client, whether they fucking are recovering from COVID or whatever and they're a fucking mess, doesn't matter. Whether they haven't showered and they fucking stink, you have to go and you have to do it. You have to make that money because that person is depending on you. But no one thinks of that for themselves. They show up for other people because they fucking have to. But if you don't show up for yourself first, when you get home, I can't really be fucked working on that drawing. I'll do it next week. No, you are waiting for you to fucking finish it. Get off your ass and do it. There's no urgency when it's for yourself. It's like, I can do it tomorrow. It's like, no, you can't. Do it fucking today. Do something else tomorrow.
I think that's kind of the human condition. Everybody they do for others because they feel like that's going to fill their cup. But then when it comes to themselves, they don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're either going to be a people pleaser or you're going to do shit for yourself. You can't do both.
No, 100%. No, you can't. And especially in this industry, most of it is for yourself. Because it starts by drawing pictures because you like drawing pictures. You're not drawing them for other people. You're drawing them because you just fucking enjoy art. And I think very early in a lot of people's careers, they forget that. Art just becomes about what other people want, which is fucked. Which is why I just tattoo what I kind of just want to tattoo these days. I've kind of pigeonholed my own style because people will come to me for stuff that I like to fucking do. And I remember working with this guy, Josh Lay, his name was, and he was like, did this wild traditional shit. And people only came to him for that stuff. He would never do anything else. Like, and this was still pretty early in my career, and I always, like, I'd ask him, how do you just get this pigeonholed clientele? And he's like, everything that comes in the door, you just draw it your way. He's like, if they want fine line work, you give them realistic roses. If they don't want it, then they're going to go to someone else. But you're giving them your fucking artwork. And that just stuck. And it was like, sick. So someone comes in and wants a rose, I'll draw a fucking dead rose. Someone comes in and wants, a Grim Reaper, then I'll draw the most fucked up demonic Grim Reaper you can find. Someone might go, no, that's too scary. It's like, oh, we'll go and see fucking Jim down the street. He might give you a pansy looking one. Like, these are the ones that I do. And it was a bit shit for like a year because a lot of people didn't sort of resonate with what I was doing. But it once it grabbed, like, you want evil shit, go and see that guy. And that's how it is. Like, you have to do things that please you in every fucking aspect.
That's really fucking good advice, though, because I think a lot of people do get stuck in that people pleasing where they just want to do what someone else wants them to do. And I think that's why people start to kind of resent tattooing, is because people aren't being fulfilled in what it is they want to do. Okay, so I'm going to leave this as the last question. And
okay.
Yes, it is a one or the other, Rah.
All right.
Do you see yourself as a tattoo artist or an artist who so happens to tattoo?
See, it's not one or the other. It's a loaded question for me. But I'll say an artist because I drew and painted before I tattooed, and one day my fucking hands won't work properly, and I'll draw and paint after I tattoo. And like you were saying before, I used to sculpt. I've done other forms of art. Holy fuck, I've done origami, for fuck's sake. Like, I don't just tattoo. But in saying that, I've learned other forms of art from tattooing. Like, I never drew a color picture until I'd done color tattoos. So, like, I did that, which is, everyone will tell you that's wrong. That's the wrong way to do it. But, yeah, I learned to draw with color from tattooing with color. And then they just sort of worked together and both got better. So, I think it works both ways. But, yeah, I'll definitely say an artist because, art isn't just drawing. Art's a lot of fucking different cool shit.
Yeah, I think that's always kind of what one of my favorite takeaways is, to hope that people can realize that if you take tattoo out of the equation, just the title, maybe not even the action of, the reason you're here is to be a creative. You know what I mean? You're still here to be an artist. Don't lose that edge because of the title.
Yeah.
And that's everybody's biggest struggle, I think, nowadays. Not everybody, but that's a lot of people's biggest struggles, is they put so much belief in what being a tattoo artist can provide for them that they start to blame their art in general because the tattooing isn't providing the rock star lifestyle they had always dreamed of. But just being an artist makes it significant, because 90% of civilization has no idea how the fuck your brain works. They could never comprehend how you create things out of your imagination. And the best thing about creating the monster is being able to live in your own fucking world that you've designed. So live that life creatively, as creative as you create.
This,
if you can't, you're barely an artist.
Do you find if you go out or you talk to people, say at dinner and stuff, and you have to introduce yourself, you don't tell them you're a tattoo artist? You just tell them you're an artist or something like that?
To be honest with you, I rarely, this sounds crazy, I rarely talk about what I do. I generally just introduce myself. And I learned that valuable lesson several years back because a guy actually corrected me on it. He was like, I didn't ask what you did, man. He was like, don't introduce yourself as what you do. I was just curious on who you are. You know what I mean? If it comes up in conversation, I love that. But it actually taught me a valuable lesson because when I would say, oh, Michael Getz, I own Legacy Tattoo, that means that defines who I am. I am who I am. We can get into the conversation later as we get to know one another, but I don't give a shit if people know what I do. I'm pretty confident in the person I become.
You do get put in a certain pocket if you're out somewhere and someone's like, what do you do? And they find out you're a tattooist. Next minute, they just want to talk about fucking tattoos and, you know. And it does get a bit tiring after a while. I remember me and a few of the boys from my shop we did a boys trip to Europe. And we were just telling everyone that we worked for Google and we were the ones that designed the logo on the homepage. And fucking so many people fell for that shit. They're just like, you look like tattoo artists. Like, nah, we just artists. We just digital designers. We just work for Google. And then people would just leave us alone after that. They sort of didn't give a fuck. And
I love the fact you said that because I was going to say, try telling people you're an IT guy and see how far that conversation goes.
They're just like, how did you get a job at Google looking like that? It's like, oh, no, it's easy, man. You're just designing homepages. It's fine. Like, and it does get, I think, when you tell someone you're an artist or you do a different type of art, I paint, I do drawings, no one really gives a shit. It's like, oh, cool, whatever. They don't take you fucking seriously. But when you tell them you're a tattoo artist, it's a whole different game. They want to sit down, they want to talk to you, they want to know you, they want to, oh, what do you do? Show me your fucking Instagram. Which is great for networking. But I do wish that we got that same interaction, like, oh, yeah, I just do oil painting. Holy fuck, can you show me your Instagram? I love oil painting. I want one for my fucking bedroom wall. Get on, follow me. Like, but artists don't get that, which is shit.
I'm fine there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm fine with leaving a little bit to the imagination because it will come up. It always does. You know what I mean? But you get to determine when it comes up. You get to vet the people because it's, for me, being a tattoo artist in a lot of different ways to me is still something. I don't want this to sound hokey and ridiculous, but it is still something sacred that I don't want to tattoo everyone. I want to tattoo the people who are meant for me to tattoo. Just like I don't want to do high performance coaching and mindset coaching for fucking everybody. It's for the people who I can best impact. You know, like, so what I do, we can discuss later. Let's figure out who you are first. And then you can navigate that conversation more accordingly. And I think that comes, ego insists you say, I'm a tattoo artist. Confidence ensures the fact it'll come up when it's important. Yeah,
I like that. It disappoints me when you say you're a tattooist and then people are interested because you're a tattooist, not because of your creativity or what else you fucking do. You could be a fireman and say babies every day. Oh yeah, that's cool. Like, it's not. They want to know you for a reason that they shouldn't. You know.
Yeah. For the next month, I'm gonna do like a social experiment where I just tell people that I'm an expressive ribbon dancer with a very straight face. Like, it's competitive. I'm a competitive ribbon dancer.
Holy shit!
And then I'll hit him with
just got real dark.
But no, all good. Man, this has been a really good hour and a half conversation, and usually I go 30 to 45 minutes, so I appreciate your time. Rah, when people want to find you, where the fuck do they do that?
I'd probably say Instagram would be the easiest, at Rah Tattoos, RAH. But fuck, if you just Googled my name that's on the screen there or whatever, I come up. I'm pretty much the only one that comes up. I don't think there's many other tattooists with that name, so I won't be hard to find.
I would hope not. No, I'll definitely. I'm going to put all your information in the comments below once this gets posted as well. Man, I really fucking appreciate your time. We're going to have to do this again. Let me know when you figure out when you're coming to the States so we can actually put your ass to work.
Well, I finally got everything for my US visa together. My lawyer's got it all at the moment, so she's processing it, and with any luck, they're gonna fucking greenlight me, and I should be there pretty soon. And then I'll be able to fucking do some conventions and get around and have some fucking fun again. It's been a while since I've been back there.
Well, I'll definitely show you around, man. Des Moines changed a little bit. Like I said, we're gonna be out in
Has it though?
Huh?
Has it though?
I mean, maybe not the shenanigans, just the local setting.
Yeah, it's caught up with the times a little bit.
Yeah, we'll show you around. I'm doing a lot more traveling now, so
fuck yeah.
I'll definitely see you out in California.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate your time. Yeah, this was a fun fucking episode, man. I appreciate it.
Some good rants in there. Thanks, man. It's been awesome.
I didn't know where we were gonna go with this. Usually there has to be a plan of attack. So I'm glad this one just went off the cuff.